Good evening, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Jobu Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. You know, it's been great today because the weather has actually gotten really, really nice. It is Saturday afternoon. It's a holiday weekend, and I've been actually out here working on getting everything together. I've been sweeping, I've been cleaning and hosing off and spraying for bugs, and I've gotten the cushions out over here and Febrezed them, got everything together, hiding some of the wires and things in here, checking the equipment and checking it twice and making sure that everything is ready because Thursday night, we'll have some of your favorite YouTubers over here. We're going to be here having a ball and watching the game, hopefully with you guys as well. And we're going to have a busy week. I was talking to my man, Roz, a.k.a. the Rain Man, as well as D2 Stu, better known as the Wolf. And we are looking at doing actually pro picks. We're going to be picking the games on Wednesday night. We're going to be doing the live stream come Thursday night. We're going to be, of course, doing fantasy football breakdowns on Saturdays. Come Sunday, 1 o'clock Eastern, we'll be live streaming during the Eagles game as well as the Washington game. They both play at the same time. We'll be doing a dual stream on those two games and following everything that is in the NFL. And then we will watch Mr. Danny Dimes and Rashid probably have a meltdown here live because the Giants are going to get their ass kicked. So here's what's kind of cool, okay? I was sitting here working, and when I work, I do a lot of thinking, and that's dangerous, of course, okay? And Gina sent me a video from Colin Cowturd. And what it was about was the NFC rankings, well, actually ranked both conferences. They ranked the Dallas Cowboys as the 7th best team. And, of course, the headline was the backlash. Cowboys ranked as the 17th best team in the NFC by execs. Okay. And before I watched it, I started thinking about that, and I was kind of like, well, Cowboys are coming off a 6-10 season. We had one player in the top 100, Zach Martin. Quarterback is coming off of ankle surgery as well as having an off-season back problem. You got a new coach on the defensive side of the ball. You ended up drafting 11 players, and all of them made the roster because you basically changed 43% of the team. And as I look at most of the preseason polls, they all have us between like 13 and 17. So 7 is right in the middle. So it's not really hard to argue with that. I mean, it is hard to argue with that one. I don't see us, I know some Cowboy fans will say, we should be number 2. We're the best team. I'm not that guy. But I was also thinking, because before I saw the list, I was like, I wonder where Washington is. Because Washington has gotten a lot of love. Of course, I don't want to take anything away from them winning the division last year. Shout out to them getting the NFC East crown. But some people of having them, you would think that they have the defense of the 85 Bears and that the team was invincible. And as I was going through my head, I started thinking and wondering about some numbers. And of course, I'm a numbers guy, so I started going through. But let me ask you this. Who would you say was a better team last year? The Washington football team or the Chicago Bears? You're going to say the Bears? Washington was a playoff team. Washington. How about Washington or the Cardinals? You're going to say, come on, man. Kyler Murray's okay and all that, but Washington with that defense. Cardinals are not the team that's better here. It's Washington. How about the Raiders and John Gruden, who they literally run that team like it's fantasy football. Truly, they run that team like fantasy football. Who would you say was better last year, Washington or the Raiders? Probably say Washington in all three of those, right? Here's the interesting thing. Would you believe that all three of those teams actually won more games than Washington? And when you think about the Cardinals having to play against the 49ers, the Seahawks, and Seattle, the 49ers, and 49ers, Seahawks, and Rams. The Rams. For them to go 8-8, you got to look at the Cardinals and say that team is a whole hell of a lot better because Washington played against the Cowboys without Dak Prescott, the Eagles, and the Giants. You got to look at the Bears, who were also 8-8 as a better team. They had to play against Green Bay twice. There was nobody in our division that was that good. In fact, you could also put in there that the Vikings had the same record as Washington. And, of course, they had to play the Bears as well as the Green Bay Packers. That's definitely a better division than the NFC East. And you even have to put the New England Patriots, who had the Miami Dolphins as well as Buffalo Bills in their division, and they had the same record as Washington. Here's what's crazy. So as I went through this, the Chargers were even 7-9. Packers 13-3, Titans 11-5, Colts 11-5, Browns 11-5, Ravens 11-5, Seattle 12-4, Chiefs 14-2, Dolphins 10-6, Bills 13-3, Rams 10-6, Saints 12-4, Bucks 11-5, Steelers 12-4. There were 19 teams with the same record or better record than Washington. Or there were 17 teams with a better record than the Washington football team. That's literally how bad our division was and how crazy it is that Washington was in the playoffs. Now, don't get me wrong. They played great against Tampa Bay. They had a chance. They had a chance on that one. And they did a good job on there. But I'm just saying this to say, pump the brakes just a little bit here on this greatness that Washington is. They benefited from a bad division. 2 victories over Dallas, 2 victories over the Eagles. They lost twice to the Giants. That's just right there. Slow your roll on it right there. They lost twice to the Giants. Their other victories were against the Steelers. That's the quality victory they had. The 49ers, I think, with Josh Rosen, and the Bengals. Clearly not quite as good as everybody says. Now let's go on to the cow turd here, and I want you to listen to what he has to say about our Dallas Cowboys here. Get Jared Goff, and recognizing they made a mistake and then give up 2 number ones to get Matthew Stafford was better than Dak Prescott being drafted with a 4th-round pick by the Cowboys and the Cowboys paying him? And they gave up 2 number ones in what, a second or a third for Jamal Adams?
Not ours.
That's not the case, because if that were the case, we would have held on to Byron Jones. We would have held on to Taco Charlton. We would have held on to Morris Claiborne. We recognize that those guys were not what we thought we were getting when we drafted them high. Speaking of high, he must be high. That is the dumbest piece of crap I've ever heard. That literally, because they got Matthew Stafford, that it makes them better that they had to spend 2 number ones to get him. For a player that's aging. You know what? I'm just going to kill it right there. There's no point. This is literally giving me a headache. So I'm trying to understand. But here's the point. Here's the main point that we got to go here. Bottom line is, I'm happy that they're not putting us up there saying that we're a Super Bowl team. Like I said, we had 1 player ranked in the top 100. We have a lot of questions, like a lot of teams do. And until teams until they get on the field and start doing something, we don't know. The funny thing is, and I actually, I'm going to go a little bit further here, but I'm not going to do it because I don't want my head to hurt. I think that he puts up. Let me go back. Did he put up? I thought he actually put up the rankings. I don't have an argument actually. Here, yeah, there it is. Let me flip back here real quick. The rankings actually are pretty good. I mean, how can you not say that Tampa Bay coming off the Super Bowl? Now, most teams that are Super Bowl teams will end up dropping because that's what happens after the fact, with the exception of New England. The Packers, of course, they were in the NFC Championship game, so it's kind of hard not to go there. The Rams, they were really good last year, so well as Seattle and the 49ers, they think will rebound. The Saints, they were again the playoff teams, and what they always do is, for the most part, take the teams that were playoff teams, and they say these are the great teams. Now, the two that are the caveats, of course, is the San Francisco 49ers, were a Super Bowl team the year before. They were asked last year but didn't have a quarterback, but they figure that, Jimmy Garoppolo's back as well as the guy they drafted and so on, that they should be good. Now, if you're actually looking at this and saying, ideally, where could the Cowboys pick up some ground? Okay, first thing, I'm still not sure what we got with the 49ers. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that they rebound. They may not be the fifth best. Seattle Seahawks, it may be time for them to take another step back. They're kind of rebuilding. That defense is still suspect. And the Rams, of course, will Matthew Stafford be the guy, or will Matthew Stafford actually, do what Matthew Stafford sometimes does and has nagging injuries? But what I will say is, I don't expect the Rams, Seattle, and San Francisco all to be that good. At best, say two of those teams as the top two teams in the NFL, because they're going to be beaten up on each other. They all have to play each other. So they're going to lose games against each other in there, okay? The Saints, I know Jameis Winston has actually looked pretty good here in the preseason and stuff, but still, Jameis Winston is still 30 for 30. I know he got his eyes fixed, but he could still have some of those interceptions. So I think it's possible the Cowboys move up, maybe 2 spots, top 5. But I'm not going to argue and say that 7 is terrible. The thing that I find interesting is that they have Washington at 10th. That's where I'm actually more surprised than anything else. So this is why they actually play the games, is because nobody really knows what's going to happen out there. And so with that being said, you know what time it is.
Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Jobu Sports.
I want to thank you. How about them Cowboys? See you guys later.